People who have enjoyed working together and have developed a high level of trust and loyalty between them sometimes will want to keep a good thing going by inviting the colleague or subordinate with them to the next job or company. If you're the more senior person, you need to ask yourself a few questions. Are the person's skills exceptionally matched to the new role, or are you going for familiarity? Is this a smart career move for the subordinate? Or might you be rewarding their loyalty to you with a new opportunity? For the more junior person, you might feel honored and grateful that this person thinks enough of you and your skills, maybe more than you think of your own skills, to want to bring you into their new situation. But here's the thing, they could unintentionally be setting you up for a serious career detour, if not failure. Let's explore. Hi, I'm Jenny Clark, a conscious leadership expert who spent 2 decades in executive recruiting and talent management. Having worked with giants like Google, Spencer Stuart, I discovered that the secret to transformative leadership lies in the 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. And I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey together and become the kind of leader that genuinely inspires organizational transformation. I have a few ways you can get involved in this conscious community. First, I've created a free career map to help you uncover your next career move. Second, I've created exclusive content for you with a community of like-minded leaders. And lastly, I send out a free newsletter every week. To learn more, check out the description of this video. I've interviewed and coached a number of people who moved with their previous boss to a new company, and in some cases, multiple times. I'll be honest and say that when I've heard that, I've wondered if the person was risk averse, doubted their capabilities because they've stayed with what was familiar. Just saying. It seems honorable enough. You've worked together, you know each other's styles and preferences, hot buttons. You can save a lot of ramp-up time being so familiar, and you can hopefully rely on one another in unfamiliar territory. But there is a possible downside. Here are a couple of stories. Daryl always supported Whitney in her moves to becoming a director. He believed in her abilities, but was aware of her flat spots or weaknesses, and did his best to cover whatever she might have missed. For her part, Whitney made sure Daryl received good bonuses and the periodic promotions, and she always expressed her gratitude for his dedication and loyalty. So when Whitney offered Daryl a chance to join her at a new company where she would be promoted, he was honored and didn't hesitate to say yes. He assumed she had his best interest in mind, and he knew he could help her be successful. After a few months, it was becoming clear to Daryl that Whitney was over her head, and her boss was noticing. Daryl was working his tail off trying to bolster Whitney, but her capabilities were lacking in this role, and he couldn't help her hide it. She was stressed and becoming resentful, sometimes blaming Daryl for all of her shortcomings. Daryl realized he had hitched his wagon to the wrong horse and decided to find another opportunity and leave the company. He found others to write him letters of recommendation and was successful in finding a role at a higher level than where he had been with Whitney. He later found out Whitney was let go about 4 months after he left. Daryl had allowed himself to be a crutch to Whitney. He failed to focus on developing his own capabilities, trusting that Whitney would look out for him. Big mistake. This was also a case of misaligned expectations. Whitney and Daryl never talked about their respective expectations and contingency plans if things weren't working out for one or the other of them. In this scenario, bridges were burned. Here's another example. Melinda was a brilliant engineer who was recruited into a major engineering firm right out of graduate school. She'd worked with Gus, who was a senior partner who appreciated her brilliance and mentored her in this new working environment. They made a good team and had mutual respect for one another. After working together for nearly 4 years, Melinda was thriving. Gus, on the other hand, was growing frustrated by the firm's new owners and decided to join a private equity-backed startup. He invited Melinda to join him, thinking he could benefit from her skills and she could share in what might be a wealth creation opportunity. She would also be seeing a different business sector, though functionally aligned with her and Gus's engineering skills. After several months, Melinda was learning a lot, but wasn't working closely with Gus anymore due to reorgs recommended by the investors. She realized that Gus's allegiance to her had waned as he was now beholden to these investors and his new leadership team, of which she was no longer a part. Feeling let down, but not betrayed, Melinda decided to start looking for another opportunity. She expressed her intention to leave and asked for Gus's support in sharing contacts and a letter of recommendation. He agreed to be supportive. And though disappointed, Melinda avoided having her growth stunted in this scenario. She made a name for herself independent of Gus in the organization. She used the opportunity to build skills and move on to a company and role she probably wouldn't have considered or been qualified for without this role with Gus. While she and Gus remained friendly, she realized loyalty has its limits at work. Here are 3 lessons to consider when navigating situations involving loyalty and career decisions. Evaluate skill alignment. Before accepting an opportunity based on loyalty and familiarity, assess whether your skills and expertise align with the new role or company's requirements. Daryl's skills were strong in his role, but Whitney's couldn't cut it. Daryl had failed to see some of her limitations that became apparent in a different organization. Assess the organizational fit. Consider the culture and values of the new company or role to ensure they align with your own principles and career aspirations. There are no guarantees, but do your due diligence. Ask around your network. Melinda realized that in the new organization she and Gus joined, he did not have the same level of influence on the organization's culture and values, and decided long-term that culture was not a good fit for her. Maintain self-reliance. While it's valuable to have mentors and advocates, it's essential to maintain your independence and ability to make career decisions that are in your best interest. Melinda played her cards right. She stayed loyal to Gus until they were reorganized, after which time she established her own reputation and identity before moving on, with Gus's support. Here's what I want you to take away. Loyalty can be a valuable asset in the workplace, but it should not be the sole basis for making significant career decisions. It is essential to balance loyalty with a careful evaluation of skill alignment, individual growth prospects, and maintaining your self-reliance to ensure that your career path serves your long-term interests and aspirations. As I've said, loyalty has its limits. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's why I've created a career mapping tool just for you to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description, and let's start this incredible journey together.